Tracy. Thank you, Jason. Okay, meeting call to order. Please stand to see the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call members, please.
Councilmember Southwick here. Councilmember Bory.
Here.
Councilmember Hunter.
Here.
Supervisor Trombley.
Here.
Councilmember Moore is absent.
Rick, do you have an extra pen?
Oh, I always bring
I
5 or
see,
6.
I see you've always got a pile in front of you, thank you. I need to know some of
It's
those.
a teacher in me.
I remember they have my notebook here. Okay, so first on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the previous meetings. We have the minutes from June 10th. You've all been supplied. Is anybody welcome a motion to approve them as presented?
Could do these separately.
Yeah, I'm going to do them separately.
I'll make a motion that we approve the June 10th minutes as submitted.
I'll second those.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any revisions required or additions, omissions? Not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. I welcome a motion for the minutes of June 18th, the special meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting scheduled on June 18th. Minutes read for as indicated.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on those minutes as presented? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
I'll just abstain, I wasn't here for,
Okay.
I wasn't here for that.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any, a couple people from the community? I have a public hearing, I got another 15 minutes to go. Has anybody got anything to address the board with? He's here for the public hearing, I take it. Okay. So I'll jump ahead and we'll get a couple of reports done, so we can't start till 7:15. Start with mine. Good evening. It is with much sadness that we announce the passing of Larry Barcombe. On behalf of the town board, we wish to extend our deepest sympathies to his family and friends. Larry served the town of Champlain for 18 years, 16 years of that as our town supervisor. We are indebted for Larry's dedicated service to the town of Champlain. And I'm sad to something happy. I hope everyone had a happy and safe Independence Day. And thank you and congratulations to the Rosas Point Stars and Stripes Committee members and workers for organizing a beautiful community event. The parade was enormous this year, and everyone commented on what a great celebration this was. This annual event is so wonderful for our local businesses. The highway department is still busy cutting grass on the sides of our roads, parks, and cemeteries. They're also preparing some of the roads for paving. The paving of roads in the town will begin sometime this month. Therefore, please slow down, move over, and use caution for the safety of the men that are working and your safety. We apologize for any inconveniences that is a result of this necessary road work. They have also completed a portion of the excavation work at our Bob Van Park. This in-kind work from our highway department is so appreciated. Utilizing our equipment and labor saves a significant amount of tax dollars assisting with projects as this. Our Putin Challenge has begun. The Putin Challenge runs July 1st through August 31st. T-shirts will be awarded to participants who visit at least 4 out of the 6 restaurants. You can obtain your passport from any of the participating restaurants or at the town office. And each visit to one of the restaurants must be validated by the restaurant. Those participating restaurants are Borderview Grocery, North Country Golf Club Grill, Sandy's Deli, Gino's Pizza, Best Friends Diner, and Frenchies. I got a pen, I forgot something. Sammy the Snake is out on the rec trail again, and he has a newly painted sign. Thank you to Tina LeCount and her art class for painting the sign. Much appreciated. Sammy was 23 feet 2 inches long on May 16th, and he is now 25 feet 5 inches long. So let's, the challenge is, so let's see how much longer he can grow this summer. We kicked off our Eat Smart Waste Less Food Waste program on May 28th. We have a fair number of residents that have signed up. There is plenty of containers left available. Consider joining in, as it is really working well, and we've got plenty of room for more participants. Complete information on this program can be found on our website. There will be a formal dedication of Bob Venn Park and the 2 new signs following their installation. I apologize, as last month I had an error in my report with the date and time of the event. The correct date and time are July 26th at 6 p.m. It's a Friday night at 6. At the new parking lot, at the park.
July 26th is a Saturday.
What is that? Did I get the wrong time
According
again?
to this,
It is a Saturday.
Oh, typo, 25th. Boy, I have a hard time, something about this date doesn't want to go in right. Correction again, July 25th at 6 p.m. at the new parking lot at the park directly across from NCCS. We will post additional details of this event on our website and Facebook page as we get closer. The Next Trex Plastic Program. Thank you to all who've been donating plastics to recycle for this project, and thank you to Price Chopper Market 32 for sponsoring this. Please continue to save and bring in your plastics. We're now partnering with the Champlain Technology Group. To date, we started this in 2023. We have collected over 4,000 pounds of plastics, which provided 4 benches and kept all that plastic out of the landfill. You can drop off plastic at our town office or at CTG for those who wish to drop off when they're stopping in to pay the phone bill. Thank you to CTG for this. We also want to thank all of our partners: Northern Tier Senior Housing, Champlain, Rouse's Point, Kiwanis, A.N. Derringer, and CTG. And soon to be EMS will be the next one. Report on projects. Comprehensive plan revision. The next comprehensive planning meeting is to be determined. Details of the public workshop event held on May 22nd is posted on the Smart Growth Comp Plan link on our website. Please visit our website periodically to keep informed. Miramar properties. The 19 acres of the mall and the adjoining 7.5 acres. The title search has determined that the town has ownership that was conveyed to the town when the town of Champlain IDA dissolved in 2013. The owners have an interested buyer waiting to close once the titles are cleared. We will be acting on this tonight under new business to set public hearing for next month to clear our name from the title. The 22 acres submitted for housing, the same buyer/developer has interest in this property as well for some type of housing. It is dependent on the buyer being able to purchase the 19 acres with the adjoining 7.5. Bob Venn Fitness Center project. Our tentative project timeline is as follows. Excavation of the fitness court and parking lot was completed by the end of June by the Highway Department. Pouring of concrete was completed by RDSO Incorporated, and the installation of the fitness court equipment is scheduled this week, July 10th through the 13th, dependent on the weather. The construction of the fitness court and pickleball courts will continue intermittently for the next couple of months. Please be cautious in that area of the park and rec trail when the crews are there working. Great Chazy River Project. We recently met with the Lake George Regional Planning grant writers, and they have identified 2 agencies to apply for funding to pay for the feasibility study. They are now working on those documents, and we will be acting on that tonight under new business to get the resolution in place and allow me to sign some of the other documents. Clinton County Health Department complete streets. As reported previously, the remainder of the improvements to our parks and streets will be completed sometime this summer as follows, once the work at the park and paving the roads is completed. Crosswalk at Church Street and South Street to increase safety for the pedestrians walking to Dollar General. And there'll be removal of the shared road markings in Prospect Street along the rec trail, and new shared road markings will be added on the trail along Prospect. There are also no parking signs and benches that need to be installed at Perez Mills Park. The Elm Street Culvert Project. Stantec is currently developing design alternatives and preliminary plans. The target completion of design is August. We expect to be under construction in the summer of 2026. Sewer District 7 project. Sewer District number 7, a portion of the reformation will be addressed again at tonight's meeting. Please note that this process, which began April 8, 2025, is managed correctly by the town board. Resolution number 15, determination of establishing Sewer District number 7, was adopted by the board at a special meeting following the public hearing on May 6th. The resolution was then supposed to be published in the Press Republican newspaper on May 13th. However, it has been discovered it was never published, causing all other actions of this town board conducted in June to be nullified. This is now the third time that our legal public notices have not been handled correctly or verified completed as per our town code. This isn't only jeopardizing our actions, but it is wasting precious taxpayer dollars. It is also placing an unknown amount of risk on the project timeline, which is especially concerning for our commercial users and residential users who are depending on this project, meeting the intended timeline for their new constructions. We are hopeful that this delay will not impact any deadlines established with our funding agencies that this project is dependent upon. There will be an investigation conducted to determine why we've had 3 public notices that did not get published in the Press Republican as scheduled. Barton and LaJudas are continuing to draft the development, design, and preliminary plans for the construction. And I should note, they are currently out and about visiting all the residents within this district to determine how to hook up, if they're going to hook up, and what services they're going to need, because it's part of that design. So you will be, if you haven't had a visit already, you will be having visitors soon to determine where your utilities are, etc. So I'm going to make a note, because I didn't have that in there. Public announcements. It's mosquito season again, and we still have a supply of mosquito dunks available here at the town office. They are free, so stop in and pick some up to help control the mosquitoes, and they're real handy on a year like this when we have all these puddles. That's what they're for, is throw them in the puddles so they don't breed and end up taking over your yard. The Farmers Market coupon program is beginning soon. The schedule is listed on our website, which begins on July 15th, runs through July 31st throughout our region. It is scheduled for July 16th here in the town of Champlain, here at these offices. Please visit our website and Facebook page for information on events going on around the town. The town is continually seeking to appoint more alternates to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board. Please consider serving the town in this capacity, as we need talented citizens of this township to become involved and assist us in moving forward. Please contact me for details if you're interested. And please note, please feel free to stop in. I'll be happy to discuss the town's projects and objectives with you. And most importantly, thank you to all of our veterans, our active military men and women, for your service. Also, thank you to all first responders, both paid and volunteer, of our EMS and fire departments, and our police officers for your dedication to your community. Thank you.
Perfect.
And thank you, Julie. Julie supplied the affidavit that the public notice was ran. So we'll I'll need a motion to recess the general regular business meeting and enter into public hearing, please, for local law number 3 of 2025.
The motion to exit the regular business meeting and enter the public hearing for business as specified by the supervisor.
Thank
I'll
you.
second that.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. So at this time, I'm gonna present the PowerPoint for your information. I hope that helps answers a lot of your questions that you may have had. And then we'll open at the end for any comments you may have. So public hearing for local law number 3 of 2025, the Champlain Town Board, July 8th, 2025. The purpose, to hear comments on the proposed law to place a proposition on the general election ballot to change the highway superintendent's position from elected to appointed, hired. Frequently asked questions. Why do this now? What prompted this action? This action was initially considered by the town board for last year's general election. However, the decision to pursue this referendum was made too late to meet the August 2024 deadline. The decision to change this position from elected to hired superintendent is primarily to ensure the town is able to hire a qualified candidate to meet the standards required as we move further into the 21st century. The decision is in no way a negative reflection on our current highway superintendent. Quite the contrary. In preparation for his possible retirement, we felt we needed to uphold the higher standards and experience he has brought to this position. An election does not guarantee those standards. What qualifications are required for an elected highway superintendent? Must be 18 years of age, must be a town resident, and must be a citizen of the United States. What qualifications are required for a hired/appointed highway superintendent? The following is a brief list of qualifications, knowledge, skills, and abilities that would be required for this position. Note, this is not a comprehensive list of qualifications. Knowledge of federal, state, and town laws and bylaws, working knowledge of procurement laws and experience with coordinating the bidding process, working knowledge of governmental organization and budgetary procedures, assigns, evaluates, disciplines, trains, and supervises staff according to current labor laws set forth by New York State, attend meetings, workshops, training, and review publications to remain current on best practices and new developments in assigned work areas, ability to handle today's requirements for electronic filing of reports and budgets, an ability to communicate effectively to specific town personnel regarding highway tasks and upcoming initiatives. Is this taking our right to vote to elect away from us? No, this is no different from either of our villages who have always had hired/appointed superintendents which are hired by the Board of Trustees. The electorates will continue to exercise their vote to elect a 5-member board that must agree on all appointments and hires. Will one person have all the control? No. The town board would oversee and work with the hired superintendent the same as they currently oversee and work with the current employees of the town. Example, code enforcement officer, secretary to the board, dog control officer, etc. This is a 5-member board which by design does not allow any one member to have control. There is not a single member of the board who can act alone. What are other communities doing? Currently, all 62 cities and all 532 villages, as well as 92 towns, appoint their highway superintendent. A growing number of towns throughout New York State are moving in this direction as technical requirements and administrative skills become more important. Our 2 villages have always successfully operated with a hired/appointed highway superintendent. What does the current elected highway superintendent position consist of? An elected part-time position for a 4-year term at a town set salary is the only paid benefit. There are no other benefits that, and it is not regulated in the time devoted to official duties. A full-time employee position requiring the individual to be on site a minimum of 40 hours per week. Salary/benefits set by the town, commensurate with experience. In other words, currently in the town of Champlain, there's two sides to that position. Why not elect the highway superintendent? It's always been that way. With an election, there is never a guarantee that the person elected has the qualifications to fill a position. We have been fortunate to date. The elected position was created in 1908. Community expectations and updated standards have changed since that time. Once elected, that person cannot be removed from office unless they break a New York state law in the course of their duties. If they are not fulfilling their duties, then the town will suffer for that 4-year term. Who determines who is hired and appointed as a highway superintendent? The town board, a 5-person board, will review all applications and choose the best candidate by a majority decision. No one person has sole power to make that decision. The town board is elected by the electors of Champlain. The board would follow county and state standards to set professional qualifications and accountability standards associated with hired appointed positions to ensure quality of public service for all residents. What happens if the referendum passes? The hired position, if the electorate votes to change it, will then be effective January 1st, 2026. Since this is an election year for the position, the elected candidate can then submit their application and resume for consideration of the hired position. All candidates that meet the position requirements will be considered by the town board. What prevents the town board from telling the highway department what to do? The Association of Towns Desk Manual for Highway Superintendents covers all the highway duties they should be performing. The town board would be able to facilitate compliance with all job duties. Any additional job duties would be presented in the job description and negotiated upon hiring. Will the town board be able to just fire the hired superintendent at will? New York State is an at-will state. The employee cannot be removed without town board approval. The town board would evaluate whether there is just cause. Did they break a law? Have they become unqualified for the position? Are they not adhering to town policies, etc.? Will the town board be able to tell the highway department what to do? Did I reread that? No, the board would be expecting the hired superintendent, I understand it. It's a different question. Will the town board be telling the highway department what to do? No, the board would be expecting the hired superintendent to supervise the highway department employees directly. The board would just be able to facilitate compliance with all job duties of the highway superintendent. Any additional job duties will be presented in the job description of the superintendent and negotiated upon hiring. Elected versus appointed summary. Under qualifications. Elected. There are no minimum job-related qualifications required by law. Any resident of town can run provided they are 18 years or older. Qualifications are provided in the candidate's campaign material. Qualifications of appointed. Town board determines the minimum qualifications via a job description approved by the county. The town board decides whether to require residency. Under accountability, elected. An elected official cannot be removed from office unless they break New York state law in the course of their duties. Elected officials cannot be disciplined, suspended, terminated, or supervised by the town board or town supervisor. The elected officials act independent of the town board. They are not restricted or regulated in the time devoted to official duties. Elected officials must take an oath of office. There is no requirement to work on site at the highway department if the candidate chooses to be elected only, meaning only half of that dual position. Accountability under appointed. Periodic performance reviews are done. If necessary, disciplinary action is allowed if an employee is not performing his or her duties as described by the town and county. Hours of employment are determined by the town board, and a requirement to be on site while performing the duties of highway superintendent may be implemented. Under compensation, elected, salaries for elected officials are set by the town board and cannot be reduced or withheld during the term of office unless a referendum is held. Appointed, salaries are set by the town board based on qualifications and experience. Public participation, a percentage of the town residents vote to choose a highway superintendent. For appointed, the town board that is elected by town residents will oversee non-elected employees based upon their employment application and documents and interview process and past employment references. Under job security, elected to a 4-year term. Under appointed, Clinton County Personnel Department works with the town and state to determine the most appropriate type of appointment. Renewable term appointment or competitive with full civil service protections. Time off. No restrictions on amount of time taken off for vacation, sick leave, or other under elected. Appointed, employee must adhere to personnel policy for time off. Financial. Elected. The highway superintendent has a wide latitude on spending for equipment, paving, and road maintenance within limits set by the town board. Under appointed, the town board works with the highway superintendent on capital plans and spending based on legal requirements, budgetary needs, and resident input. Brings us to public comments. And if you want to address, please state your name and address.
I just seem to see the PowerPoint. I think moving, I'm sorry, Kim Trombley, Village of Champlain. I think that this is moving in the right direction, seeing as there's so many other communities that are doing this. We want to be sure that we have people with all of the right qualifications that are taking care of our town. I think it's a good thing.
Okay, thank you.
Steve Ashline, Village of Rouse's Point. Very good presentation, answered most of my questions. As of now, as opposed to what you're recommending, I have 3 quick questions. As of now, the highway supervisor is responsible for hiring and firing right now. Who has that responsibility right now?
Highway superintendent.
Okay. And who's responsible for written disciplinary measures as of right now, as opposed to if it's changed?
For anything that in regards to insufficient work-related issues, it's definitely just the highway superintendent. If it falls under anything to do with the monies, our budget, then it can become both this board and the superintendent.
And last question. As of now, if the highway superintendent steps down during his term, who does that person appoint the next person as of right now, as opposed to what you're recommending?
As far as I know, he would recommend an appointment, but the town board still needs to approve it, approve his recommendation.
They have to approve as of now. And the
As far as I
future?
know, yes.
Okay. That answers my questions.
Okay, thank you. I guess with that, if there's no further comments, then I guess that ends the public hearing at this time. Motion to,
I'll make a motion to exit the public hearing and return to the regular business meeting.
thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. You guys are more than welcome to stay through all this stuff if you want. If you don't, thank you very much for attending. Okay, report from the council members. Councilmember Hunter, can I start on this side with you?
Sure. Let me ask the question first. Councilman Bory, are you going to talk about the farmer markets coupons? If not, I will add that. Okay. First of all, let me start by saying farmers market coupons, I'll give you my copy. Farmers market coupons will be available for pickup in the village of Rouse's Point on July 11th, in the town of Champlain on July 16th, and in the village of Champlain on July 19th. There is eligibility criteria. You can find that on the town's website. In regards to the Rouse's Point Farmers Market that actually began in the month of June, the following dates are still available. If you are interested, you can get a hold of somebody at the village of Rouse's Point and they can point you in the right direction, but those dates are July 11th, July 18th, July 25th, August 1st, and August 8th. We will provide new dates at the August meeting. This runs from 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock, and these each are Fridays. Champlain Fire Department, per Chris Trombley, just a couple of messages. One, CFD continues to make steady progress on the new fire station, and they are still hopeful that they will be able to move in around the September timeframe, and he'll be sure to share more updates as they get closer. The second item, we're going to wait until we get into old business. It has to do with the Knox boxes, and I have done some research, and I do have some information that I will provide as related to that at that time. Rouse's Point Fire Department had their annual chicken barbecue during the 4th of July festivities, and it was very successful according to Michael LeBlanc. They sold over 548 meals, and they were gone by 2 p.m. And he would like to thank all the community for supporting this very, very important fundraising event. In the village of Rouse's Point, the upcoming village board meetings are Monday, July 21st and Monday, August 4th. They are held at 7 o'clock at the Halstead Hall. And if you want to check and verify that those times and dates are still ongoing, you can check at the website www.rousespointnewyork.com, and that's ny.com/calendar. Rouse's Point Dodge Memorial Library, the Library Book Club, meets the last Wednesday. The last time they will meet is July 30th from 7 to 8 o'clock in the Ross Nonfiction Room. You can contact the people at the library by calling 518-297-6242. Summer reading program, following dates: July 10th, July 17th, July 24th, July 31st, and August 7th. These are held between 10:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. Also, the 2025 summer program events at the Samuel D. Champlain Center Stage are going to be held on July 10th, July 17th, July 24th, July 31st, August 7th, and August 14th and August 21st. A lot of great performers and bands. You can check out the town's website for further information as to who the presenters and performers are. Also, Clinton County 250 project, which is the recognition of the start of the American Revolution. Are you gonna speak to that, Jason?
Yeah,
If you
I
are,
am,
I'll
yeah.
leave that. I'll leave that to you. Clinton County Department of Health announcements. Again, please be on the lookout for ticks, because ticks are in full swing, and they can be a hazard not only to human beings but also to our family pets. Other events. The class of 1980 at Northeastern Clinton will be holding their 45th class reunion on July 25th at the American Legion, post 912 in Rouse's Point. It begins at 6 o'clock, but if you are not a graduate of that year, it is not open to the public, but all NCCS alumni are encouraged to attend beginning at 7:30 p.m. Also, the Rouse's Point Sportsman's Club Chicken Barbecue will be held on July 26th from noon till 7. Included are many wonderful food items, from a half chicken, potato, onion, corn on the cob, and roll, to clams, beer, soda, hamburgers, hot dogs, Michigan's homemade French fries, and there are a lot of raffles, and also music entertainment will be provided. Charter Communications. Spectrum continues to enhance services to offer more entertainment and communication choices. Effective on or around August 5th, pricing will decrease for unreturned equipment, specifically digital receivers, and they will see a price decrease from $97 down to $67. The EDU Appeals Board will be meeting this particular month to analyze and edit all the current EDU assessment roll. To date, I've heard back from one of the committee members. I'm still waiting to hear from 3 others as to an appropriate date, but we hope to have that kind of cleared up so we can make the recommendation at the August board meeting, and so we can provide the report to the water board. Let's see, what else? So concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Hunter, very comprehensive, appreciate it. Moving on. Councilmember Southwick.
Our planning board met on 7/3. There was a subdivision brought before the board that was tabled until additional information is received. Should there be items on the agenda, the next meeting is scheduled for 8/7 at 5:30. News from the rec department. Our summer programs have begun. Swimming starts next week, and we have a total of 129 participants.
Excellent.
I know, it's very good. They're currently running 4 one-hour sessions every day for 3 weeks. If you haven't had a chance to visit our website, under residents and youth recreation, see what is available for the summer and fall to keep our kiddos active this summer. I want to thank Shar Sample for the great work she is doing, and to all of those who have become certified lifeguards and water safety instructors. She's got some excellent programs going on this summer, so take a look at the website and see if you can get your kids involved. Supervisor Trombley mentioned the Bob Van Park update. 7:25 is our dedication, and our signs are complete and ready to be installed. And that is my report.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilmember Southwick. Councilmember Borde.
All right, we'll start with update on ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals. There was no meeting in June, so there's nothing to report. There's no minutes for you to review. The next scheduled meeting is on Thursday, July 17th at 5:30. That's going to be here at the town office. There is business for the ZBA. That's Thursday, July 17th at 5:30 right here at the town office. If I could draw your attention to marketing now, we do have our updated quarterly report that was submitted, I believe, just yesterday. This is a breakdown of the last quarter, so quarter 2. You can see that it's keeping track of a few things for us, our total users for the analytics provided by Google. the number of views and sessions, and our bounce rate. And if you quickly take a look at the last page, you can see what an acceptable bounce rate is. Good bounce rate is 45% with the new G4 and AI benchmarks. So that means we're doing well in terms of the bounce rate. We're slightly above of what is considered to be the new average. You can see the breakdown of where people are coming from. I think this gets more broad. Each time it comes, looks like it comes in from different places. Obviously Montreal is a portion, but we're getting hits from New York and Boston and Albany. And the not set, if you remember in the little note there, the not set means they didn't have any tracking on where they were coming from, so they weren't able to identify where the hit was coming from. Look at new and returning. That's pretty great when you look at those new people coming to our ads and yeah, it's really,
It's a high number.
that's great, yeah. So it is. So the traffic is going. And then the breakdown of the pages on the website that people are going to. You can see the home page is a big one. With Explore being the second highest, and this of course breaks down people going to the court page or going to resources like zoning and code. You can also see the breakdown of sessions by what they're doing, what are they using, with Google being one of the top ones, of course directly typing in, and then of course you've got a few of the others there. Category based on, it looks like a lot of people are just doing it on their phones. Which makes sense. More and more people are just relying on their phones as their device of choice. So you can see a lot of that. The breakdown of the Facebook and the data coming from Meta, number of posts, the impressions, the clicks, engagement rate seems to be pretty good. Top post engagements include the 4 that they've listed here. And then the reactions that people are getting when they're being shared, people are liking them, people are making a comment. And our Facebook, sometimes the posts on the Facebook page could be 4, 5, 6 in a day. So it's been very successful. And then you can see the Google ad campaign on the next page, the impressions from those, the number of clicks. And they're just kind of showing us from the paid advertisements that we're pushing out, you know, what's the connection to those, all right? I think we keep seeing increase in terms of the numbers here. So I think the work that Boyer Benner is doing is being seen there in the numbers, so.
And if I could add something there, Jason, I think one of the reasons why the town kind of proceeded in this direction to kind of work with Boyer Benner was to kind of be the bridge between possible businesses out there in terms of economic development. And this, we're seeing, you know, over 723 views during this period by a total of 553 users. So we continue to be very hopeful that we can kind of, you know, bring more economic development into your community.
Well, let's just put it this way, I've had many more calls in the last year than I had in the previous year and a half. So, the phone does ring, they do call here for more information. I usually do ask if they've been on the website and they had, so it is doing its job. With that, did you find out from them when they're gonna run those new clips?
I don't have, I think they're waiting to solidify and get the rest of, I don't think they wanna run anything until they have all of what they need to have everything set in place. That was the impression I got.
Okay.
And I believe they're supposed to be reaching directly out to the party in question, just to make sure that they're all set with that.
Okay.
So I have that they're running soon, they're gonna launch soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Next, so this was mentioned by the supervisor, also by Councilmember Hunter, but the RP 4th of July Committee would like to extend a huge thanks to all of this year's sponsors. You can find them on RP starsandstripes.com. All of this year's sponsors are listed there. Also to thank the Village of Rouse's Point, the Town of Champlain, the Village of Rouse's Point Rec Department, Dodge Memorial Library, to our judges, Councilmember Hunter, Village of Champlain trustee Kim Trombley, and to Mary Rasco for their assistance with judging this year. All the entries in the parade are vendors, are volunteers, and our Grand Marshal this year, Calvin Castine. A great thanks to all of them. It was a huge success. And just to note that some of the things I'm going to follow up with here deal with America 250, and that's what we're already planning for next year's big celebration. So if you want to jump on board with that celebration planning for 4th of July, the Rouse's Point 4th of July Committee, please reach out via the website. We meet the first, I believe we've changed it to Wednesdays, first Wednesday of the month at the American Legion Post 912 in Rouse's Point. Also follow our Facebook page, Rouse's Point Stars and Stripes on the Lake, to get more of that with America 250 big stuff. So I'm going to put this a few things here. The Clinton County Historical Association has already planned several events, and they are ongoing as the 250 celebration has already started. This is going to be going on now for the next year as we go to the big July 4th of next year of 2026. They're offering Revolutionary War Camp training for young boys and girls aged 12 to 16. They're offering these camps July 9th, July 23rd, August 6th, and August 20th. The camps run from 9 to 2 p.m. And you can register. There's no cost. You need to reach out to Craig Russell at 518-420-6477. You can call or text. You can also email Craig at sandymt2@yahoo.com. You can also reach out if you want to find out about more Clinton County Historical Association information and events. You can reach out to Jerry Favreau at 518-561-0342. There's also events posted on goadirondack.com, adcoastcultural.org, and I believe we also have links on our website. So there's a lot going on, and we have things posted here. Another one that's going on locally is being hosted by Montgomery Post 912. It's this Saturday, July 12th, to recognize the start of the American Revolution. The Montgomery Post 912 is sponsoring a talk and an honoring of General Richard Montgomery, as well as Jacques Rouse. Both are Revolutionary War veterans, and this is going to take place at approximately 11 o'clock on July 12th, where the old Village Beach is on Montgomery Street. So they're going to meet there, and they're going to have these talks. They're going to talk about the history of the fort. They're going to talk about the two individuals, both Jacques Rouse and General Montgomery. So a great opportunity to kind of get into the spirit locally of what's going on with our celebration, America 250. Okay, so we got that. Other things going on here at the town of Champlain. Our next food truck event is going to be on July 10th. That's Thursday, July 10th, right here at the town office. It's going to be from 4 to 6:30, and it's going to, this time it's the Food Dudes. They are very popular each time they've come. So that's Thursday, July 10th, from 4 to 6:30, Food Dudes, next food truck event here at the town office. Our townwide yard sale, garage sale date is set for August 9th. This could include both the villages, so if you're in the town of Champlain, both Village of Rouse's Point and Champlain, you are included in this. If you want to get on the official map, you need to contact Julie here at the town office. You can either call her at 518-298-8160, extension 203, or you can email her at townclerk@townofchamplain.com, and she'll get you on the map. Just a note here about water safety, there's a lot more boats in the lake. People are using our waterways for recreation and for cooling off and enjoying. Just remember water safety, doing things the correct way, and being safe for you and your friends and family. Also, shout out to the highway crew here at the town of Champlain for all of their hard work that they continue to work on throughout the summer months. Making sure that paving is done and our roadsides are manicured, as well as our the countless other things that we ask them to do throughout the summer. So remember, if you see any highway crew, both here at the town, villages, and if you're on the interstate, doesn't matter where you are, slow down if they're working on the roads. Also for bikers, walkers, runners, slow down. Take the time to slow down and make sure that you're safe and that they're safe. So ends the report.
So true. Thank you. And Councilmember Bory, I'd like to comment on the America 250. I should have had that in my my report. We have had our first meeting,
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
and it was fairly well attended. The town is kind of leading this, so I've, got a set of minutes that went out. We have, I wanna say there was like 4 things that we scheduled, put dates to, 4 events next summer. And I think that we should probably start, I'll talk to Sarah to see if we can create an America 250 calendar for the website, so people can go to see what's, as we start building this, cause we're gonna be building this for months and months and months, probably right up to next summer. And keep adding, and
If I could make a recommendation, it might even be worthwhile to create a whole page of itself, just for America 250.
yeah,
With links that people, so we just talked to Boyer Benner and just say, let's create another page just for this
yeah,
yearly.
you made me think of that when you started reporting on it, like, geez. Cause we need to make it easy for people to go to see what's going on, where we're gonna be holding these events, et cetera, so. Yeah,
I'll reach out to them and say that we want that.
Okay, very good. And thanks for your report. Report for the town clerk.
You have my monthly report for approval.
I do. I'll make a motion to approve the report as presented by the town clerk. Total local shares of $1,057.52. And total non-local revenues $345.31.
I'll second.
All in favor? Any discussion? Excuse me. Are any questions on the report? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Signed copy. Next is a review of the post audit bills, the abstract. Again, this is month to month. It's our abstract, it's what goes out normally. Any questions on it at all? If not, then we'll go to the approval of the monthly bills. Now, due to the July 4th holiday, us being closed today, having some vacation time, we have a lot of additionals that had to be added this morning. So you've got the bill report total of $19,933.37. The total additional bills, total $25,702.63. So our total bill pay will be $45,636. Standing out that you'd like to discuss?
The only thing I want to point out to the community in regards to this with the bills is, of that $45,636, over $22,000 actually is going towards the Bob Ben Park. It includes signs, it includes, again, a court grant for emergency lights. It includes labor for the concrete on the install, concrete for the fitness center.
Yeah, the emergency lights.
There's a lot of items there. What's that?
The emergency lights are not part of that, though.
They're not part of that,
No.
so that is something totally different. So that's 26, 25 from that, so you're
Right.
still over 19,000.
Mhm.
And the signs that are going over at the park, that was a donation, so that's not coming out of taxpayer dollars.
Okay.
Right, and,
Is there anything that we were over or under budget on for this?
so far, the only thing we went over budget on, according to the quotes from 2 years ago, of course, you gotta remember they're 2 years old.
Correct,
so
they are.
Was the concrete came in a little bit higher. But again, all of this, I wanna point out, when you refer to the Bob Van, there was several, we had the grant funds for one, and then large donations from our partners, CDPH and Hudson Headwaters, American Legion, and the one that donated towards the signs. So that's not all, we're probably gonna get into some budgeted dollars, but I don't even think we're there yet. But yeah, the concrete was the larger one.
Was the stone for that? You had him for?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, for the court and that portion of parking.
That's what I figured, but I wanted to be sure.
Yep. Welcome the motion to approve as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the monthly bills as presented, including the additional bills for a total of $45,636.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Southwick? Aye. Councilmember Boring?
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter?
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley?
Aye. Motion carries. Code enforcement reports, have those, do you have any questions with the reporting of the cases and the permits, et cetera, et cetera? As far as the code enforcement case report, it's mostly the 2 villages. I'm sure you've seen that. And if you look at the inspections, there were 24 inspections, 100% passed, so that's good news.
I asked the question earlier, prior to the meeting that began, and I think that Councilman South had actually provided me with a little bit of feedback on this CISO Incorporated that's located on 6.
What are you looking at?
It's the one on, that actually has the fees report.
Okay.
It's located on page 6 of 10. It's the only one on the top,
Okay.
so.
That is that new warehouse distribution center going in Castine.
How many people was that employing, do you know?
Originally, it was going to be about 40. I know they reduced the size of the facility, they moved in 2 phases. I've never been told how that impacts the number of employees. So it may decrease it slightly, but yeah, somewhere in that area, 30 to 40 people. The CISO Incorporated is the
Correct.
contractor, the builder.
Right. And I think Councilman Luckett actually said that they're also located in some other states, so. Okay.
Well, if there's no further questions, we'll move on from that report to the dog officer's report. Any questions on Jody's report? You probably didn't get a chance to look at it earlier, because I just printed it off from just before the meeting, but it's all provided to you. As you can see, there is one location where they're having some problems with the dogs. I might comment on this because I know I had a couple of messages from folks in regards to Jody's dog control. It does need to get documented, so yes, you can call him and he'll go out and check it out, but you still need to file a report, so please go online and file a report. If you can't do it online, print it off. If you have to, come in here and we'll print one for you, but it does need to be documented, because he did mention to somebody, you have to file a report. He still went out and checked out the issue, but it needs to be documented, especially if, when he gets out there, we find that there is any abuse or anything like that without the documentation, we're not gonna hold up in court. So, I guess I just needed to add that due to the messages I've been getting. If there's no questions pertaining to that, then we have this information. It's basically it's a press release from NICEAG and RG&E. Provided to you for information, so you can read through it. And then we have our standard charter communications updates. And that brings us to new business, number 1, which is Resolution 29, adoption of local law number 3 of 2025.
Can I just go back to Chris's report for a second?
Okay?
I just wanna let you know that if you look on his report and compare it to my report as far as building permits, the numbers don't jive, but his report covers
The both
both
villages.
villages.
All right, yeah.
Just so you guys know.
Correct.
Thank you.
Just to make you aware, that's
Yeah, I think you mentioned
why the
that
numbers
before,
are
too.
different.
Yeah, that's why, I think we have mentioned it before, you may have brought it up to us before. So, yeah.
And I don't know if there's a way where he can separate that.
There isn't.
I don't think so.
So that's why it's.
So when I look through it, I always look at the addresses.
Correct.
Where they are.
Right, that's the only way you can.
Okay, so resolution number 29 of 2025, adoption of local law number 3 of 2025, entitled, "A Local Law Changing the Office of the Highway Superintendent from Elected to Appointed in the Town of Champlain." Whereas the Town of Champlain Town Board, has identified it is in the best interest of the town for the office of highway superintendent to be an appointed position rather than an elected position under the management of the town board. And whereas such change is subject to a mandatory referendum requiring vote by the electorate, therefore, it is required that a proposition on the local law shall be placed on the November 4th, 2025 general election ballot. And whereas the town board had previously initiated the adoption process per subsection 272-A of town law and introduced local law number 3 of 2025 on June 10th, 2025, and now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Champlain does hereby adopt local law number 3 of 2025, which will allow the electors of the town of Champlain to vote their choice of an appointed or elected highway superintendent. And be it further resolved that a roll call vote is carried to approve said resolution. Motion to approve by?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 29 of 2025, adoption of local law number 3,
I'll
as
second.
presented by the supervisor.
Thank you. Do a roll call, please.
Councilmember Southwood,
Aye.
Councilmember Maury,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Tremblay.
Aye. Now therefore be it further resolved, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Next, resolution number 30 of 2025, to set public hearing for authorization resolution number 32 of 2025. To authorize the town supervisor to execute and deliver all documents and instruments necessary for the conveyance of the town of Champlain Industrial Agency parcels to Promenade Champlain Incorporated. Whereas the town of Champlain Industrial Development Agency, the IDA, entered into a lease pilot agreement with Promenade Champlain, Inc. in or about 1992. And whereas public records indicate that the parties originally intended Promenade Champlain, Inc. to purchase the IDA parcels. Parcel number 18.1-44, 7.6 acres, and parcel 18.1-50, 19.49 acres, from the IDA for $1 after the expiration of the 15-year lease term. And whereas that purchase had not been consummated, and since the town of Champlain IDA dissolved in May of 2013, conveying all rights, titles, interests, obligations, liabilities, and records of the IDA to be transferred to, vested in, and possessed by the town of Champlain in the county of Clinton. And whereas Promenade Champlain, Inc. has received an offer from an interested buyer to reuse and redevelop the IDA parcels, the town of Champlain Town Board realizes the need to consummate the original agreement between Promenade Champlain, Inc. and the IDA now owned by the town of Champlain. And whereas the town board desires to hold a public hearing with respect to authorizing the town supervisor to execute and deliver all documents and instruments necessary and appropriate for the conveyance of the IDA parcels by the town of Champlain to Promenades Incorporated via quitclaim deed in exchange for $1. And now, therefore be it resolved that 1, that a public hearing be held by this town board with respect to the authorization resolution number 32 of 2025 at 7:15 p.m. on August 12th, 2025 at the town of Champlain Municipal Building, 10729 Route 9, Champlain, New York. And 2, that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause all required public notices of said hearing to be given as provided by law. Motion to approve is set forth by?
I'll make a motion to set a public hearing for authorization of resolution number 32 of 2025, as read by the supervisor.
Thank you.
I'll second 31.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And now therefore be it further resolved, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Thank you very much. All right. Resolution number 31 of 2025. Resolution and determination establishing Town of Champlain Sewer District number 7 in the Town of Champlain, County of Clinton, State of New York, pursuant to Article 12 of the law of the State of New York. Whereas a petition pursuant to Article 12 of the town law relating to the establishment of the Town of Champlain Sewer District number 7 in the Town of Champlain, County of Clinton, State of New York, has heretofore been filed in the town clerk's office. And whereas Barton and Judas, DPC, competent engineers duly licensed by the State of New York in a manner and detail as required by Article 12 of the town law. I just want to fix this. Duly filed a map, plan, and report in the office of the town clerk of the Town of Champlain in accordance with the requirements of town law. And whereas the said town board did on the 8th day of April 2025 duly adopt an order reciting a description of the boundaries of the proposed district, the maximum amount proposed to be expended for the improvement, the proposed method of financing to be employed, the fact that a plan, map, and report describing the same are on file in the town clerk's office for public inspection, and specifying that said town board shall meet at the Town of Champlain Town Hall, Town of Champlain, New York, on the 6th day of May 2025 at 6:30 p.m. For the purpose of conducting a public hearing on such proposal to establish a sewer district with the specified improvements, and to hear all persons interested in the subject thereof concerning the same. And whereas copies of said order were duly published and posted according to law. And whereas said town board did, at the time and place specified in said order, duly meet and consider such proposal, and hear all persons interested in the subject thereof who appeared at such time and place concerning the same. And now therefore be it resolved by the town board, Town of Champlain, County, Clinton, that it be and hereby is determined as follows. 1. The notice of hearing was published and posted as required by law and is otherwise sufficient. 2. That all property and property owners within the proposed sewer district are benefited thereby. 3. That all property and property owners' benefit are included within the proposed sewer district. 4. It is in the public interest to establish the proposed sewer district as hereinafter described. And 5. That the first year cost for the typical properties within the district is $660 per annum. There are no hookup fees to property owners that are connected during the construction of the collection system for the proposed sewer district. And it is further resolved that the town board does hereby approve the establishment of a sewer district as hereinafter described to be known as Town of Champlain Sewer District number 7, as described and set forth in the maps, excuse me, map, plan, and report of Barton and Judas, DPC. And be it further resolved that the following improvements in said district be constructed upon required funds being made available or provided for the sewer district. And be it further resolved that the proposed improvements, including the cost of rights of way, construction costs, legal fees, and other expenses at a maximum cost of $16,370,000, shall be funded by a combination of grant and 0% interest loans from the New York State DEC WQIP program, New York State Clean Water State Revolving Fund, and other state and federal grants. And be it further ordered that this resolution is subject to permissive referendum pursuant to the town law of the State of New York. Motion to approve resolution as presented. Aye.
I will make the motion that we approve it as read by the supervisor, but I do not have a copy in front of me to follow along with.
Yes, neither do I.
You didn't either?
No.
Is that resolution number 32? or
It's 32,
31?
I think.
No, it's 31.
No, this is 31.
Because 31 we have here actually appears as this
Yes,
one.
right, so then this one had to be put back in after we found out it wasn't published, remember?
Right.
So I renumbered, I provided it, I provided it to Julian with a notation that it got renumbered.
Okay, okay.
So resolution number 30 authorizes resolution number 32.
Not 31.
not 31. And what you
Alright.
just read about the
That's
school
correct.
district is resolution number 31.
31.
Okay.
This 32 will be next month's.
Okay,
Which
so,
we-
which we have, but it's.
That was just for information, so you could
Correct.
connect the dots.
Correct.
Okay.
So all we did was set public hearing for.
Correct.
For that resolution for next month. And then this one is just the redoing the determination establishing the town of Champlain Sewer District to be published in the paper in less than 10 days, as soon as possible.
Right.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to approve it next month under a different resolution, and then we'll also have to redo the bond resolution after that.
Okay, and if we can just get a copy of that sent to us, please.
Yeah.
For my own reference,
Well, I
thank you.
didn't have it. Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Julie.
Councilmember Southwick,
Aye?
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. Carries. All right. Do you want to send that to her, Julie, or do you want me to?
I thought I did, but
I thought, yeah, I assume that's
it's in their box in there.
possible.
Oh, it could be in the box, but I haven't checked the box. I only go
I
off
thought I
the
sent it to
electronic
you.
and then this, what's your,
I sent you guys something today. And yesterday.
I'll look and see again. It could be.
Yeah, 'cause a lot of these happen at the last minute, like I got that from
Because I sent,
Anthony yesterday
I sent
afternoon.
that, I think I sent it to you yesterday,
Okay.
because the one I sent today was this
Yes.
resolution 33.
33 was today.
Yeah.
I don't always know whether to print these out and bring them in, or whether they're gonna sit here on my desk, so I guess I didn't print out the 33, which is here.
You usually provide them, right?
I usually make copies, plus I email them to you. So you don't really have to print them out, because I usually, if you don't pick them up, they're here on the desk.
Right.
Okay, right.
Okay. Well, sorry about that. A little bit of confusion,
Well, that's all right. We went off of what you read.
which was the same thing I
Correct.
read before. So the next thing on the agenda here is review of the town welcome signs. So Dorothea suggested, I highly agreed with it, that we should do this together. We've got it pretty well narrowed down. I guess, Dorothea, do you want to take over with it?
JP Signs gave us 6 examples, that's on the front part of your, do you have one?
I do.
Okay. And for our choice, and as Supervisor Trombley and I were going through it, we preferred the last one of the 6 on the right, although we're certainly open to suggestions. We wanted to make sure that it said welcome to the town of Champlain, not to be confused with Champlain. We liked the fact that there was the town logo and the little Samuel D. Champlain in there, that it was established in the year we were established, which I can't read because I don't have my glasses on, 1788.
Yep.
And the little ribbon, which looks 3D but is not 3D. It's all one piece, and it says the town with 2 villages. So if you turn over to the back, it enhanced that last one into a 6-foot, 4x6-foot sign or a 4x5-foot sign, and then your choice of what you would like to see on the back.
Right, so in other words, because we like that bottom design the best, she added the town of on the front here, as you can see. And then we questioned, should it be 6 feet wide? That's a wide sign. Or should we make it 5 foot?
What are the current ones?
About 4. Maybe a hair over. I think they're actually 51 or 52 inches. So a hair over 4.
4 feet wide,
Yeah.
yeah.
When you have a lot to read, it is better to have it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, because we can go either way.
Yeah, because you're adding another line of text there.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's,
The other recommendation, I think, Ms. Sarah had suggested that we would come again soon and add a soon in there, or thanks for visiting, but,
And our current sign says, drive safely, come again.
yep, that would be nice too.
So we could do that again, or we could change it up and just put come again soon, or thanks for visiting. So those are the two questions. I think really what we're asking you is, what do you wanna see on the reverse side of the sign for people leaving the town? And what size would you agree to? The larger is good.
You like-
but it
Are
won't
are
pick
you
up-
paid by the word or the
We
letter?
can always put it over here.
No, they're the same price.
They're the same price.
Yeah.
Councilmember Bory likes the green,
I like the green up the bottom,
welcome to,
on the first column, on the way to the bottom. I like the green, it adds a little bit more.
warmth.
Cause the one that we're looking at now, which I don't mind, it's given vibes of what we kinda have now. Where I think if you add a little bit of that color in.
It also pulls in part of the
Yes,
town
I-
logo.
I completely agree.
So do you wanna change,
You want
go to the
changes.
back and change the color within these, or?
Like make that green.
Yeah,
Yeah, we could make.
Which one?
Welcome to,
No, I got that one. I got the first column all the way down to the bottom. I'm talking about in terms of the back. What are you saying to do with the back?
No, just if you look, well, if we stick with the same design that we chose.
Right.
And shape, you could change the colors within this sign easily.
Do you wanna just change the welcome to?
yeah, I think so. Cause I don't know if there's room to put those lines in there. Cause they had lines underneath this.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
that might be too much now that you've got, cause they added that other line of text.
Correct.
Right.
What do you think about that outer white border being green? Would you wanna see what that looked like?
I think the lines are drawn to the text. And I almost would even recommend that on whatever one you choose for the back, if you go with that, with the underlining of the green and the blue, do it also on the back where you say, please come again, or whatever. Kind of do the same thing with the blue and the green. Just a thought. So it's a stack.
On the back of the sign have the two lines that go across.
Yeah, so similar to like what you have here with the two
Correct.
lines, I would do the same thing here, where you would say, either thanks for visiting, come again, whatever one you choose to go with, I would do the two lines.
What would you like on the back?
I would say, please come again. That's how I.
Mhm.
Okay. I like that.
Can I throw another phrase in there?
Sure,
Absolutely.
See you again soon.
fine,
That's good too.
that's fine, yeah,
I like either one.
yeah, that's fine, that works with me.
All right, make your decisions.
I'm fine with Jay's recommendation.
Okay, so we're gonna change the back to C.
See you again soon. And then we're gonna add a green and a blue line on the back.
Yeah,
And we'll just have JP Signs,
Because if
do it up again.
Yeah, because if we know that this is what we want to use, then just a couple of mock-ups of a few different versions of that. And somebody recommended maybe the outline be.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can we see a mock-up with that too? I think
Yeah.
that would look nice.
So green outline,
So,
and/or?
Are you talking about the green outline on the outside
Yeah.
of the white line?
That border.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
And not where the white, okay, all right.
You're replacing the white with green, right? So we're clear?
Yeah,
I don't think we have enough room on the sign for
I don't think
the
you
two
do either.
lines.
I
No.
don't
On the
think you do
front
either.
sign,
No,
on
no.
the back we could.
not with that extra text.
Not with that one. If you went with this one, you would,
Yeah,
but not the other.
yeah, that banner at the bottom, which I really
And
like.
I like that. I like that one. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I like the banner.
I
Yeah.
like it because it draws the attention where the welcome to is green, and now you've got, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I
And I
like
think,
that
yeah, I
one the
think if
best.
we incorporate a little more color into this,
Sure.
I think it's a winner, I really do.
Good.
Okay,
So we'll try an outline and/or a green welcome.
yeah, green welcome too, and then possibly that green outline border, whatever you wanna call it.
Okay.
'Cause it- I noticed she didn't do it on any of them, so I'm not sure why.
Do you want to go with the 4x5 or the 4x6?
I think you're gonna wanna go with a 4x6 if you go with the banner at the bottom that says the town of with two villages.
Okay,
How big is the sign behind Rick?
that's
Just
a
for
3x4.
That's a three.
Oh, that is a 3x4?
That's a three
I
by
believe
four.
it's a 3x4.
Wow. Yeah, that's,
So, well, that's another foot then on either side.
That's a big sign.
yeah, that's, four might be enough. Yeah, 4 might be enough.
Interesting where the green line is through the Bob Venn.
And that's what I'm
See that?
saying. That's what I'm saying. So it
It's
kinda,
not
it's aesthetic
underneath,
with
it's
this.
like.
No,
through
it's along Bob then. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe we should, maybe we can work on just cutting a piece of cardboard each of those sizes, just to kind of see what it looks like, generally speaking.
Well, like you just said, the 5 foot sign is gonna be a foot wider than that.
it'd be
Right.
6 inches on
And
either
a
side.
foot higher, 'cause it's 4x5.
Yeah, I think that'd be large enough.
The 6 foot is gonna be about the length of your table,
Yeah, I think a 4x5 would be.
pretty close. I'm thinking that if, since we were hoping to standardize them, my thought is, this year is fine, we could probably get away with 6 footers, because we're going on all the major highways. Next year, we're gonna be doing the hamlets, and I got a feeling the 6 foot's gonna be too big.
Use the smaller signs for those. Oh, that's an interesting thought too. It varies it up, right?
Yeah, so we could either stick with the 6 on these major roads and go with the 5s in the hamlets, or we can say, you know what, let's make them all 5s, they're all standard.
The current ones that are in there, were we going to be using any of the posts that are currently there, or they're all,
No,
Pretty bad.
Yeah, they're all pretty bad, so we're
so
pulling,
they have to be all pulled up anyway?
yeah,
And will they be made of the same material?
yes.
I
Life expectancy
I
of
like
it,
your
usually what do they
Up
recommend?
here around the sizes.
Longer than we're gonna be around, she said.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good to know. I'm
The
just
only
curious
reason I
in
say
terms of how long.
that is because where the major arteries are, the car is,
Going
the
faster.
vehicle is going faster and it's more removed from the road. Think about coming in on 11 from Morris to Champlain. That sign is far removed from the road. I think it needs to be larger to make sure that you see it. But when you're driving, say, on the Lake Shore Road, the car is much closer to the sign, if that makes sense.
And I find the one small as you head out of town,
But late-
toward Chazy. On Route 9, as you head out of town, as you get
That-
right
that-
before.
That one's gone now because it fell over.
Right, but I
that-
found that one small.
And that was the same size as the one in 11, believe it or not, roughly 52 inches wide. So one of the spots that we are doing this year would be Lake Shore Road,
Okay.
because we're doing Overton Corners, right? When you leave it, come out, either when you come around the corner or you come through Customs,
Mhm.
that's one. Lake Shore Road, Route 9, and Route 11. Those are our 4 outliers. So next year would be Perez Mills and Cooperville. There's another one there somewhere. There's 2 in Cooperville, and there's 1 in Perez Mills, there's 1 somewhere else, there's 4 of them. There's a total of 8 signs. I just can't remember where the other one is. So we're down to, are they, make them all 6 foot or make them all 5? I'm thinking 5 will get a little bit less pushed around by wind. It's a smaller sail.
What's the size of that TV?
Or 65?
It looks about 50.
65 or 70?
Right, but that'd be diagonal.
Correct.
So probably 50-something inches
Yeah.
across. What am I gonna measure it with?
So that's 4 feet, 2 inches.
Yeah.
So that sign's gonna be an additional 6 inches on either side.
Yeah, it's a lot. I don't know, I think you stay with a 5. I just think it's. And you said the current ones, the one that came down off of Route 9 was how large?
The sign itself, I think, was 51 or 52 inches, and then from the outside of each post, it was like 58 or 59 inches, from post to post, on the outside post. But then you had a bracket, so your sign's quite a bit smaller. Remember, there's a metal bracket in there, so it sits away from the post this much. So in other words, the 5-foot sign would be bigger than what that is. It's
Correct.
It's 60 inches.
That's why I think it would be sufficient.
It's a little bit wider than what was there on the outside of each post. Pretty sure I measured that as 58 inches. But she has done them 6 feet wide, so.
And the posts are, what are they, 4x4s or?
As you can see, the signs are really light.
You know what,
Yeah, I will give her a call and have her put together a couple of options with all of these suggestions. Do we want to hold off and make a decision on the size of the sign, or did we decide on the size?
I don't know, I think I would vote for the 5, so we can try to standardize them throughout, because I know the 6, I think, is gonna be too big for some of those
Well-
locations.
I'm thinking I'm 6'1", I can give you an idea how much 6 feet is, but I think that's a lot.
Right on that table.
That's right.
Table's gonna be just a hair over 6 feet.
These are?
These-
A little over
these-
6 feet?
these are-
I think they're more,
Right here,
it might be,
this is,
A little bit
this
shy
right
of
here
6.
is 3 feet, right here. Perfect yard.
oh, that, you go one more and you'll see that you're right about there,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I think it's about 6 foot.
I think that's pretty large, that's 6 foot is good. So 6 inches off of each side.
Do you get bigger font when you go to the bigger sign?
Why don't you see what she says? Tell her we're just
Okay.
up in the air between the 5 and the 6, and,
Yeah, get her recommendation.
yeah, see what she thinks.
Okay.
I mean, ask her what other municipalities has she sold signs to, and what
Sure.
sizes were they?
Good idea.
Maybe we can take a peek. That'll give us some,
Okay.
I'm easy to work with. Most of them.
All right, next, number 5, getting there. Resolution number 33 of 2025, resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application to the New York State Department of State, NYSDOS, Local Waterfront Revitalization Program, LWRP, for the Great Chazy River Marina Revitalization Feasibility Study. Whereas the entrance from Lake Champlain into the Great Chazy River has experienced significant sediment accumulation, limiting navigation for vessels with drafts greater than 36 inches. And whereas 4 priority areas within the river corridor have been identified for survey analysis, and potential dredging or infrastructure improvements. And whereas a feasibility study is needed to assess current conditions, evaluate revitalization options, and develop recommendations to enhance marina access and economic opportunity while protecting natural resources. And whereas the New York State Department of State, through the local waterfront revitalization program, is accepting applications for funding through the state's consolidated funding application, CFA process, for projects of this type. And whereas the town of Champlain intends to apply for the LWRP, which was the Local Waterfront Revitalization Program, funding in an amount not to exceed 75% of the project cost with a 25% local match to be provided through cash contributions, volunteer time, municipal force accounts, in-kind services, or other eligible non-state sources. And whereas the proposed project has been reviewed and found consistent with the Essex and Clinton County LWRP component plan, and whereas the town of Champlain supports the submission of the application and authorizes the Lake Champlain, Lake George Regional Planning Board, LCLGRPB, to prepare and submit the grant application on the town's behalf. Now therefore be it resolved that 1, the town board of the town of Champlain hereby authorizes the submission of a grant application to the New York State Department of State Local Waterfront Revitalization Program for the Great Chazy River Marina Revitalization Feasibility Study. And 2, the town board authorizes the Lake Champlain, Lake George Regional Planning Board, the LCLG RPB, to prepare and submit the funding application to the New York State Department of State on behalf of the town of Champlain. And 3, the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute any and all necessary documents, agreements, and certifications required for the application and potential implementation of the project, and to coordinate with the LCLG RPB and the New York State Department of State to ensure the project complies with all applicable program requirements. And be it further resolved that a roll call vote is carried to approve said resolution. Motion to approve as presented, please. As read, I should say.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 33 of 2025 as presented by the supervisor.
And I'll second that with discussion.
Okay. Any discussion?
Steve, I have some questions. So what timeline are we looking at for this? Let's say that the 75% for the LWRP is approved. What kind of timeline are we talking about in terms of the local match, that other 25%?
Probably by spring of next year.
So it's not something budgeted this year. It has to be something budgeted in 2026.
That is true.
Do we have an idea in terms of what this proposal looks like cost-wise? Because when I think about this, the survey and the analysis, but when you get into dredging.
No, this is for the feasibility study only.
Just the feasibility only that we're looking at right now?
That's what the title says. And the quote that we had from B&L was $18,000, I want to say. I can get that to you, Rick, but I want to say it was $118,000.
That sounds right.
$118,000 to do the feasibility study.
I think there's many people that have asked or were wondering or feel the need for the dredging part of this. So I think in order to determine, to get to that point, you've got to go through this, stage, right?
Yes, so this is, well, it's been a long process getting to this point, trying to find how to fund the feasibility study. And there may be other little grants that can be added in conjunction with this, but right now, this is the one that Lake Champlain, Lake George Regional Planning finds is the best fit. And I might want to add that we're very fortunate to have them, because there's no charge for what they're doing. They've done all this research, they're putting this grant together, and there's no fee to us at all. We did talk about, I made it very clear that it's not budgeted, so we are going to try to find the rest of that 25% if possible.
So what dollar value are we looking at for the local?
If we,
Is the total not 118,000?
Yeah.
So 75, okay, never mind, I can do it in my head.
okay.
Okay.
Okay? Any further discussion? I'll just add that it's been a year we've been working on this, trying to find funds to get this portion of it done. And we're gonna need to go after federal funding once we get the feasibility study completed, which is gonna give us an idea of how many tons have to come out, et cetera, and how an approximation of what it's gonna cost. It's gonna be a large price tag. And it's much more difficult to do this now than the last time it was done, which was 47 years ago, I think. And I always get a kick out of telling people I worked on that project. So I was out there doing it. But now, it's just, the regulations are so stiff that it's not easy to get done. And then it was paid for by the Army, last time it was done, but it was paid for by the Army Corps of Engineers. Now they don't have funding to do this. Well, the system's sunk, but they don't fund it. So if there's no further discussion, take a roll call, please.
Councilmember Southwick? Aye. Councilmember Maury?
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter? Supervisor Trombley?
Aye. Thank you. And now therefore be it further resolved, this resolution shall take effect immediately. And next and last on new business is this invoice that we received. I had Shazy send it to us. Jody had mentioned it to me. It's not like I was completely blindsided, but a couple weeks ago that he had to replace a window. Remember we bought him a cap for his truck? I wanna say it was 2 years ago, but I can't swear to it.
No, it was last year.
Last year.
It was last year? Okay, so it was last year. Well, somehow one of the side windows, which are, I thought they were just plastic, but I'm not sure. It's a soft cap, it's not a hard cap. Got broken somehow. So he had it replaced, the yipe stripes, and he it's got billed to the town of Shazy, because they purchased it, if you remember right, and then Beaton Town and ourselves shared in the cost. It was a three-way thing. So the question to this board is, do we intend to make repairs to it, or what did we intend with that cap? Is that town property, or did we buy it in order for him to be able to use on his vehicle, and then he's responsible for repairing it? Because if we intended it to remain as town property, then I guess we should repair it, if that's the case. But it also means that if Jody leaves or whatever, something happens, and we have a cap that'll
Has no truck.
only fit a Chevy truck. So I don't think we really thought it through clearly, on what our intentions were. We never drew up any type of a document. I'm thinking that whatever we decide on, between the three boards, tomorrow night, Shazy will be having the same discussion. I don't know when Beaton Town's meeting is, but whatever we decide, we probably should add it to the contract next time it's renewed.
Is this our share, or is this shared by 3 municipalities?
This is a total, this is a
So it's
total.
divided by 3.
Divided by 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, what, less than $60 a piece, or, well, no, it's 178
Right.
for the freight. So. So we're not talking about a lot of money, but it's,
It's the principle of what we're gonna do with cap.
and what kind of precedent we want to set.
That's exactly right,
Mhm.
because we do open the door here.
But I can see why he did that. It is, considering it town property, just like, town bought it, so. And if we want to do that, that's fine, but then beware, I think we should put something in writing in the contract stating it. All three of us should, all three municipalities. And it fits a 6.5-inch old style Chevy box. So
Right.
it's not gonna fit a lot of trucks.
And a lot of them now are going to a 5.5.
Well, even my 6.5 is a different box than a 17, they're just not the same anymore.
Right. So you could be ending up holding the cap and have nothing to ever put it on.
Exactly.
You can sell it on eBay or something, but,
Yes?
but maybe get more than $60. What do we pay for that? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. I wanna say, it wasn't a ton of money either.
It wasn't. I
really
don't remember.
I really don't remember. I should have probably looked that up before the meeting. What are your thoughts anyways? Is it, I mean, we'll end up going with the majority of what the municipalities wanna do, but once the three of them all discuss it, if 2 out of 3 say, no, we're not doing it, but we're gonna give them the cap, that's kinda what you'd be telling them, in my mind. We're saying, we're not gonna repair it, it's not ours, it's yours, and it's his cap. If we say it's town property, then I guess we should fix the window. That's how I look at it anyways. Sorry for all this discussion today. I knew this would be a tough one too.
What other municipalities decide, is that gonna help determine the outcome here? I mean, how
I
can,
kinda know, we're the first one up,
okay,
you know?
will they follow our lead, or
I
are,
have no idea,
or-
probably.
What are what's Jody's thoughts? Is he willing to purchase the cap from the town? Is it, I mean, it fits his truck now. And because now he runs a kennel business, I can't imagine he wouldn't want to keep that cap. Can we,
What was the justification for buying that cap? Was it because we wanted to have protection for the dogs that he was picking up in his truck?
Yeah,
And he didn't have a cap?
right,
right. He felt he needed it.
I don't remember what we paid for the
Whether-
cap.
What's that?
I don't remember what we paid for the cap.
I don't
I
either.
don't.
So you're suggesting, Rick, that we contact Jody and find out what his feelings are? and-
Yeah, I'd like to know what he thinks first, and then,
Well, I'm pretty sure he thinks that we should pay for it if the envoys came to us.
so that means he's not looking to keep the cap then.
And I'm thinking he considers it town property, that if something happens, he has to turn it in.
Ask him if he's interested in purchasing it from us.
He probably would at that time, but I don't know about now or not.
Now, he's got a new business, he's got revenue coming in with his kennel. Yeah, it wasn't that much when we purchased
Yeah.
it for him.
So maybe we could, basically, we're considering it town property at this point, I think is what you're saying. But-
It is.
But yet you'd want, it is, right? So we could say, well, let's fix it, but then see if Jody would like to purchase it.
Correct.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yep, and sell it to them at the depreciated value.
So we don't deal with this again.
You got it, and then we're not setting a precedent for anybody else.
Yeah.
But at this time, we're saying, because it's considered town property by all parties, let's just pay the third share, and call it a day, and then see if he'll purchase it from
Mhm.
the three of us. All right, I'll let the other towns know that's our decision. Do I need a motion for that, I wonder? I make a motion to pay our third of the $178 at this time because it's considered town property.
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and I'll have that discussion with him. I will let Shazy and Beatmantown know that that's our view, is that we don't wanna continually go down the road.
And if it ends up being the town's property, I'm sure we can find somebody out there with a truck that would fit it. But I just wondered if you might be interested in getting his.
Okay. Okay, that's it for new business, old business, efficiency, investment policy. Find time to work on that. And then the other one is the Knox box. And you
Yeah,
want to
I
report.
want to give a little bit of some airtime to that, if I could. Chris Tremblay from the Champlain Fire Department back on April 8th had actually sent a letter to the Champlain Town Board, and I believe I had read it at that time. It has to do with formally requesting consideration and adoption of a local law requiring the installation of Knox box systems on all commercial buildings within inside the town of Champlain. Champlain Fire Department has responded to numerous emergency calls at commercial properties where access was significantly delayed due to the absence of a key holder or the extended time it took for one to arrive on site. These delays, of course, pose serious risks to life, property, and safety of our emergency personnel. In his email to me this week, he said, the only other item that I wanted to bring up, other than to let you know that the new fire station looks like it's on schedule, is that he wanted to know what the status was on this Knox box proposed law. And this would require, new commercial buildings to have this Knox box installed. I did do a little bit of research on that. I reached out to the town of Plattsburgh, Michael Cashman, and never heard back from him. I called him on June 19th. I messaged a zoning member for the town of Peru. He checked into it for me, and the town of Peru has nothing that requires their commercial businesses to have Knox boxes on site. I did call the town of Plattsburgh, spoke to Sue Proctor. She referred me to the fire chief. When I did call him also on June 19th, he was just headed out to an emergency call, and he told me he'd call me back, never did. So that's where I am with that. Just to give you a little bit of an idea in terms of the installation of the Knox box, it would be the property owner's responsibility, and cost could range depending on the model. They have two models, a 3200 and a 4400. It would be installed about 5 to 6 feet from the ground level. It could be anywhere from $500 all the way up to $874. So I don't know how the town board wants to continue on with this, other than to wait to see if we can get further information from some of our other local municipalities and see what they recommend.
Yeah, I think we should continue doing that, Rick. And I think we can also all agree that it wouldn't have to require every commercial building to have one, because any building that is occupied 24/7 does not need it at all.
Right.
Um,
But it is an additional cost to the business.
To the business,
And so
yes.
I think it's important that we kind of, you know, research this and, is it something that we can, you know, send out correspondence to commercial sites, with the Champlain Fire Department's recommendation and get some feedback, see what they think? That might be another direction to pursue.
I think a large commercial business can absorb that. I'm worried about the small businesses
Correct?
that if we required it across the board,
Right.
I can see where that could be a large price tag for small business owners.
They can, I agree. And if they've only got one or two
I'm
employees.
surprised they're that much, wow.
They are,
Okay.
so. And of course, he ended his letter just indicating that he respectfully urges the town board to develop and implement a local ordinance mandating this. Because it's about safety first. So.
Did you try the city of Plattsburgh? To see if they had
No, I
it?
did not try the city of Plattsburgh, but again, I would have thought I would have gotten return calls from some of these people too, and I did not,
Yeah.
so.
Try sending them emails?
No. No, I like to speak to people because what I find is a lot of times I might not have all the questions. And so sometimes they'll only give you what you ask. I want to be able to kind of engage with them in regards to this, so.
Well, let me see if I can get a hold of Cashman and see if we
Yeah,
can
you might have better luck than.
get a conversation going with him.
Right,
Get his views, see if they do it at all
Right.
within the town of Plattsburgh, because you never even determine that, right?
yeah. His number is 562-6813.
I got him.
Yeah.
I got his, so.
Rick, what was the cost on those again?
Anywhere from $4.99 all the way up to $875. So.
Is that a name brand? Is it, there only one brand out there?
No,
called
there's
that?
another one called a Q2, Q4, can't remember which one it is.
Same
But
price
they're,
range?
no, these are the ones that are recommended,
Oh, I see.
yeah. They're only produced in Phoenix, Arizona. And again, the installation falls on the owner
Mhm.
in addition to the cost of the box, so.
It's really interesting. We got one for my mom as
You
personal.
can get them
residence.
residential, yeah.
Yep, free of charge.
Mhm.
And they just put it on her house and her key is in it and they can access it. It's just a tiny little box.
Right, for the residential, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can look these units up. Again, there's two sizes. There's the 3200 and the 4400.
But it didn't cost her anything.
Yeah, but commercials have to.
Commercial would be different.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Although it's kind of a small price to pay if
It
your
is.
building
I would-
burns down.
I would think that you could write it off on your insurance. If your
Of course.
insurance carrier knew that you had this installed and it allowed quicker access by the fire department into your building,
Mhm.
it's a win-win. So, but I just hate to proceed to recommend the creation of a local law without getting, more information.
Yeah, no, we need to gather more information.
And as I said to Chris, I responded to him, and I think I CC'd you on that
You did.
email, so.
We did. No, I agree, we gotta collect more information. I don't think we're ready for a decision yet. Okay, so I'll try to help you out with that a little bit and go from there. And, next business meeting is scheduled for August 12th, 2025. And I welcome a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will be happy to second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries.
Here, Julie.